we learn from verse 9 of chapter 1 of Revelation that John indeed was exiled. He had suffered persecution. And he was exiled to the island of Patmos. Everybody knows where that is, right? You've all vacationed there. It's a small island, according to what I found on the internet. It's about 13 square miles, so not very big. And it's in the Aegean Sea, of course, between Asia Minor and Greece, and it's closer, very close to Asia Minor, in fact just off the west coast of Asia Minor, which is modern-day Turkey. John was exiled there because of his faith and because of his faithfulness. He continued to preach Christ crucified. He continued to proclaim the good news, like Daniel of old, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego of old would not bow down and worship any king, regardless of what it meant. An example for us to follow, isn't it? And so because of his faith, he was persecuted. He was like what was happening with the other believers. Now, one of the more interesting things of Revelation is how long it took for these visions to be given, for John to see these things and to write them. We would presume, because of the length of Revelation, that it took days, weeks, a month, maybe a little more. But we find that Revelation, the entire book, was given to John, written by John, in one day. One day. On a Sunday. He says in verse 10, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day. And from that point on, we don't find him mentioning that it was on a different Sunday or 2 months later or 3 months later that more of Revelation was given. What a wonderful way to spend a Sunday, right? Caught up in the Spirit, caught up by the Holy Spirit, the Spirit speaking to you, seeing Jesus, hearing all these marvelous things, seeing all these marvelous things, writing them down. And I have no doubt that after he had written it and had copies made to send to the 7 churches, John himself kept a copy for himself and spent the rest of his days studying it, just like anyone else. So, it was written on the island of Patmos, where John was exiled on a Sunday.